press, please. Over to you, Chairman, sir.
Thank you. Opportunities in auto component sector in Chhattisgarh. On behalf of FICCI, I welcome Shri Arun Prasad ji, IFS Managing Director, Chhattisgarh State Industrial Development Corporation, Mr. Ramshankar Pandey, Managing Director, Hela India Lighting Limited, Mr. Ankit Mehta, Chief Executive Officer, Mehta Steels, Mr. Raghavendra Singhania, Chief Executive Officer, Shivalik Engineering Industries Limited, Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, Head of the Plant at Kaisa New Holland Construction Equipment India Private Limited, and all honored participants connected through web. Chhattisgarh, as you know, is the hub for raw material like raw steel, aluminium, power, cement manufacturing. The very feeling that enterprising industries here are always exploring investment to set up affordable finished goods manufactured overseas, including components and structures, is in itself a welcome sign for new investment to come in Chhattisgarh. India's engineering sector is divided into two major segments: heavy engineering and light engineering. The turnover of capital goods industry in India is expected to grow. Equipment industry and telecom instruments has increased tremendously. Mr. Goyal, the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industries and Railways, is making all-out effort to ensure that the export of in infrastructure over the next 5 years. In sectors like power, mining, have been driving the demand in the engineering sector. The approval of significant number of special economic zones across the country and industrial corridor across 7 states is expected to further boost the engineering sector. The government has proposed granting of loans of say up to rupees 1 crore for MSMEs within 59 minutes through a committed online portal. Under the interest subvention scheme for MSMEs, rupees 350 crore has been allocated for this year, with 100% foreign direct investment allowed through the automatic route, and initiatives like Make in India. Major international players have entered the Indian engineering sector due to significant growth opportunities available. The interplay of 10 of these themes have created 10 exciting opportunities for auto component manufacturers and engineering portfolios. Pursue export opportunities aggressively, enhance import substitution, offer premium features and Indian than before, focus on component categories that could contribute more to vehicle costs in the future, and expand aftermarket offerings to capture value from existing and aftermarket exports due to an increase in electric vehicle sales. New or modified features would be in demand with an increase in shared mobility penetration. Data-enabled services and solutions form partnerships and ecosystems to create and capture, expand portfolio to serve adjacent industries in the heavy engineering sector in particular. Therefore, by identifying which opportunities fit best and working strategically to seize them, it would create a successful auto manufacturers and the heavy engineering industry in Chhattisgarh. With the government all out to support and make tailor-made policies Raw material like steel, aluminium, power, along with manpower availability in abundance at Chhattisgarh, along with the already established and ever expanding industrial setup, the entire then I think there is no shortage or issue which will not welcome new investment. With this note, I and you and your fellow as the state is open, the state is ready to welcome all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to invite Mr. Rama Shankar Pandey, MD, Hella India Lighting Limited. He's got more than 22 years of entrepreneurial and turnaround experience in auto component industry, having versatile experience both in OEM and aftermarket industry fields. As a Bosch and Timken alumni, his core area of interest is technology and people development. He is topper of his batch at NIT Calicut and university rank holder in his engineering. He joined Hella Asia Singapore in 2006 to lead its Indian aftermarket startup and later joined the board of Hella's Indian manufacturing unit, Hella India Lighting Limited, in 2009 and successfully turned around its special OE business, giving a new vision altogether, technology of tomorrow for the life of today on Indian roads. He achieved the business model innovation for the company and won many industry recognition, including ECMA Award for Quality and Productivity. Auto Component of the Year 2015 by CV Magazine, Excellence in Lighting Technology by National Center of Automotive Technologies, and Industrial Innovations Awards in 2017. Under his leadership, Hella India Lighting has also been recognized as most innovative enterprise in India in the mid-size manufacturing uh, companies uh, companies category. Hella India Lighting Limited has been adjudged as the winner in auto and auto components category in Dare to Dream Awards by Z Business. He received the ET Now CSR Leadership Award in February 2018 on his outstanding work on road safety, and Hella India Lighting Limited received ET Now Award for innovation in corporate social responsibility practices uh, as well in February 2018. He was also awarded as the most promising business leader of Asia 2019 by Economic Times. He is also holder of Green Belt in Lean Six Sigma, founder member of Knowledge Charity NGO Prayas, Bangalore. He was also the secretary of Corporate Society of India, student chapter of NIT Calicut, and convener of national level symposium involving IITs, NITs, and reputed state level engineering colleges during in his college days.
That's a long profile. We should we should start because if you, I think you got a long profile in your hand from somewhere. I'm fortunate and I'm thankful to all of you to actually give us the platform. And as Pradeep ji said that yes, all the fraternity from auto component and automotive industry should look at this state as a state where things can be done in a way that which is business friendly. Friends, before I start, how do we measure the investment? I think this is a very sensitive question for me because what I see in our country that the way the investment is being measured by state governments and the competition what is between all states is how many crores of investment has been put in the states. That can be one parameter, but I would like to put another thought, which is actually how many people are getting employed and how much wealth is being created out of that investment. And that brings me to the auto component in the automotive industry because it is for sure that the automotive industry doing roughly 50 billion contribution to the GDP per year. But at the same time, if you look at the number of people whom it is employing, of course, directly roughly 1.5 million, another indirectly 1.5 million. So roughly 3 million people can be directly traced who are being employed by automotive industry. And rightly said by Pradeep ji also that it's not only OEM, and people forget that OEM is one part of the ecosystem, and generally the whole industry is being pulled by OEM. So if Maruti starts in Udyog Bihar in Gurgaon, you see the whole component manufacturers coming around and the ecosystem comes around. This is how the clusters are made in India. And that's why you see that the clusters, which is very successful, is in the north, which is Delhi based or NCR based. You see clearly that the Chennai did a very good job of attracting the automotive industry, and the most OEM, when they come, the component guys come there. Then you will see that Pune and Chennai and recently Gujarat started. So for Hella also, We are a global company, roughly 7 billion, but in India, we started at Gurgaon in Haryana, but then we have factories in Punjab also. And now recently, we also started in Gujarat. Now, when I say that why people always look for investment in terms of value or how much capital has been employed, I to me, there's another look we all have to give is into the how much we are able to create value and how the ecosystem is built. So one, of course, if we can OEM, a large OEM, it will be great. So all of us should work together. That do we have some very promising OEMs in this state? And if we get it, of course, it will carry because logistics cost is a huge cost for all of us. And serving something very close to the plant becomes a logical conclusion. But at the same time, we always ignore a large industry. And I think it's great to hear from Pradeep's introduction that he did consider that as the attractiveness is the aftermarket industry. Because aftermarket is considered as after. But please understand, when the vehicle leaves the house of an OEM, the whole life of vehicle, it uses a lot of things. And that is actually that industry. Generally, automotive industry, we only consider manufacturing the vehicle. But the moment an OEM sells a car or a truck or whatever, there is multiple times investment goes into maintaining that. That time to the end of life, there's a huge industry. So if you only look at the component which goes into a car or a truck, is roughly 10 billion what we do in the aftermarket. But that does not consider batteries and lubricants and all of those stuff. But that also belongs to the same industry. So let's look at hypothetically if it is 20 billion. Now, for OEMs, wherever they are, the vehicle is run in this state. So it is comparable to how we use consumables like milk and bread for our house. Same way, the vehicle uses diesel, petrol, lubricants, spare parts, everything, filters, whatever you call. Now, this is a very good opportunity to start from small and grow big. Because whenever I meet any state government, the first idea is to get the factory of a large OEM. I think it is taking time, and OEM cannot have factory everywhere. And that is something becomes a non-starter. Rather than that, if you look at even in Chhattisgarh, there is a consumption pattern for aftermarket, or I call it whole of life vehicle. It gives jobs hugely. You will see so many roadside workshop, garages, retailers, distributors. So many people are employed in that, and the prosperity comes in that segment when you have local, I'll say local brands. Some you can call it like Minister said, vocal for local. I think this is what I'm recently started advising everybody. You know, the biggest difficulty for an aftermarket player to put a plant in a state is demand because it is all infiltrated by counterfeits and spurious. So you have the Kashmiri gates and the opera house of the country from where material is being sold on a non-standard basis. So what a government can do to enforce standard in aftermarket, what a government can do in terms of supporting the genuine company, I think that will matter much more than the subsidies or whatever. So building that ecosystem, if we can build a situation where we invite these people to come into the state and we give them some market possibility, that means their uncertainty of marketing comes down. For example, if you have a local milk brand, I think most of the state government has a cooperative and they have a local milk brand. And that milk brand is filters, some of the fast moving consumables. If you can create a local brand, whatever you call it. For example, for Make in India, we call it for the country level. If you have a state level and the consumers start preferring that, I think aftermarket is about consumer marketing. It's about the choice of the customer. I think that is something which I will say, since I belong to ACMA and I'm also chairing the aftermarket committee there, the National Committee on Aftermarket is chaired by me. I clearly see that my biggest enemy is non-standard products. And I'm sure the moment you have a non-standard product, you are not getting any revenue in the state government. These are sold without taxes. These are sold under the table, no bill, and there's a big loss to the tax revenue. So this is where we can make a difference, that we can bring maybe to begin with these small manufacturing, you can say supplier ecosystem. looking at that, if this is maturing, I'm sure that someday the large aftermarket company also can come. Looking at Chhattisgarh and its industrial, outlay, I think mining and construction is something where I clearly see that we can attract more investment, because I can see also my business in mining is doing good there, and I see a lot of scope because that is growing. So overall, from the ACMA perspective, we see a lot of challenges actually to start any manufacturing investment anywhere, but we also see a lot of enablers, and one of the enablers is, will any state be able to attract us for the aftermarket business? Because aftermarket is a running business. Please understand, if we sell 2 million vehicle a year, we have a huge vehicle park in the country, and so is in Chhattisgarh also. That the vehicle which is on road is quite a sizable market. And this market, if we have to grab, we need to work like an ecosystem. If we can reduce the risk of marketing little bit by creating maybe a local brand, maybe some kind of preference, vocal for local, I'm sure that that will be a good starting business case, because any investment will need a business case to be approved by the board. And when we have a certainty on demand, that really great. And then if we have 1, 2, 3 success, we can then share that success to the other members. ACMA has roughly 800 component manufacturers as the member. And we do consider, anywhere in the India. But if you look at from the whole of East, for that matter, our footprint is only in Jamshedpur, and otherwise we are not other places. So in the end, my only submission will be to this group, let's discuss about how can we also take care other than the OEM business, which is bound in these clusters, whether it is in the West Pune cluster, or whether it is in Chennai cluster or Gujarat cluster or in NCR cluster. If we have to start something fresh and start something which is really doable and feasible, let us attack the aftermarket portion. Let us invite these component manufacturers who can come and who can get the market locally. And if the competitiveness is there, and on top of it, we have subsidies and we have a good policy, they should be able to compete outside, and then we can export out of that place. In fact, out of 10 billion overall aftermarket domestic, we have very similar number for export of components. In fact, auto company manufacturers today are exporting more than the overall vehicle manufacturer. You can understand the success of that. So it is a successful business model if we are able to provide that kind of competitiveness to them. Now it depends on the nitty gritty little bit, and that can be worked out by the individual companies, not as a discussion here, that how much that competitiveness is. If you are able to offer a very competitive aftermarket product across the country, we will be successful to start something there. With this, I will, from my side, I will not take much time to all of you, and giving it back to Pradeep ji.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Um, Now, I would like to invite Mr. Satyendra Tiwari, plant head, Case New Holland Construction Equipment India Private Limited. Mr. Tiwari is a dynamic professional with around 26 years of rich experience in industrial operations from TRF Limited to L&T Case and Case New Holland Construction Equipment. He's a keen strategist with expertise in managing entire operations, ensuring optimal utilization of resources with key focus on profitability. He has received specialized on HR from HRI, finance from IIM Bangalore, operations management from IIT Mumbai, production management from NITIE Mumbai, and supply chain management from IIM Indore. In May 2014, Mr. Tiwari was appointed as the plant head for Case New Holland Construction Equipment Pithampur and has been managing industrial operations and leading world-class manufacturing initiative in India for CNH construction equipment business in Asia Pacific region ever since. He is an astute professional with excellence in devising strategies, procedures, and methods, diagnosing bottlenecks, mentoring, improving plant efficiency, and controlling operating costs. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And thanks, Mr. Pandit, for explaining supply chain complexity, what concerns to aftermarket. Normally, people don't talk about aftermarket, so thank you for taking that subject also. We are located in central part of India. We do have three business vertical: tractors manufactured in Noida, construction is in central part of India, neighboring state Madhya Pradesh, Pithampur, and one business in Pune making harvester and cotton picker and sugarcane harvester. We are not sizable in terms of our global operation. We are having a vision to go to $1 million year next year. Margins of $27 billion last year. And as a part of global operation, I can explain you what kind of supply chain complexity has come to India, especially after COVID crisis. So, if you look at India business, and Mr. Pandey explained about the automotive market, which is close to $50 billion today, and we are talking this market will go to $350 billion by 2030. Within 10 years, there is a possibility of very strong demand, and this market possibility of domestic is we will have $500 billion in 10 years. So it means today it is a scale of only 20% of our GDP. So that's the kind of possibility which exists in this positioning in this sector. Coming to Chhattisgarh, and specifically I touch about the emerging issues which we are facing in India. If you look at, we are experiencing through VUCA, and VUCA means in India, still we are fifth largest automobile market in the world, and we in 5-10 years we will be third largest market. Uh, there are strong positive growth prospects and also to Chhattisgarh, but we are experiencing from policy side lot of volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, which is driven by government is trying to push lot of milestone, and we are not very clear when we have a target for electrification, when is the target for BS5, BS6, hybrid technology, and this technology has a lot of industrial impact. We don't know what is within 5 years the best model to really copy, and all the automobile industry are really struggling uh, where to position their product. So, uh, coming to opportunity, if I look at recovery in economy, we are talking about V-shape, U-shape. We are not expert there, but with the second wave of Corona being there in few parts of global major supply chain hub, we are expecting W-shape. But I think there is early sign of recovery, and we have to get ready for future. As regard to Chhattisgarh, if I look at the strength of the state is a newborn state, but it has a life of 20 years. In 20 years, Chhattisgarh has done a lot of work in IT, and the way the social structure is moving today, they are going for servitization, urbanization. Uh, Supply chain is going to play a critical role, and we are going to have, as Mr. Pandey explained, maybe significant presence of OEM is not there. But if Chhattisgarh can attract even tier 1 supplier, tier 2 supplier, looking at demography of Chhattisgarh, in place centrally, there is a lot of merit I can see that they can be a supply chain partner. Having said that, electricity which is in abundance, there is a lot of steel which anyway has to go in any automotive industry, whether it's a casting, forging, whatever, which is there in Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh can leverage on that strength to really develop a strong supply chain, because no automotive or OEM can work unless it is supported by a strong, very strong supply chain network. And also with help in aftermarket, because we need to service those equipment which are there in India, which has a long gestation of life. So I think Chhattisgarh is getting ready for future. There are a lot of advantages. I can see that Chhattisgarh has a lot of growth in terms of growing middle class population. young population, Chhattisgarh can focus on emerging technology of digitalization and IT. I think government is focusing a lot in skill development. If Chhattisgarh can create a skill and knowledge state where skill development is key differentiator, I think there is a lot of opportunity for Chhattisgarh to grow. Chhattisgarh will continue to be a significant cost advantage due to the possibility of lower operating costs, which exist by tariff, electricity, and prime sector being anywhere present there. And as Mr. Pandey said, investment is not only attracting OEM, but there is a merit to attract OEM. Because OEM alone cannot work. So once we have a presence of a small or big OEM, it also brings a lot of supply chain partners around and it creates a lot of employment. So I'm really looking forward for a very bright future for Chhattisgarh, not attracting investment in terms of dollars or growth of investment, but also being a knowledge partner, skill developing state, and having a leveraging strength for the demographic positioning what is anywhere there surrounded by major state where a lot of careers are happening. I wish all the best and looking forward for being partnering with Chhattisgarh to have this journey of growth and learning together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Moving on to the next panelist, we have Mr. Ankit Mehta. He's CEO Mehta Steels. Mr. Mehta was born brought up in Durg, Bhilai, Chhattisgarh, schooling in Rajkumar College, Raipur. He completed his graduation from Mumbai University. He joined the family business by the name of Mehta Steels and has been instrumental in establishing HB wire unit, binding wire unit, induction furnace, heavy fabrication and rail installation turnkey projects, international steel trading. He's a founding partner in startup venture which is Scribble Preschool and www.steelheart.com, a B2B online steel portal for steel raw materials trading pan India. Mr. Mehta has been responsible as a media for EPC India with aim to boost engineering exports of the region. Mehta Steels is catering finishing mild steel products, crane rail installations, and heavy fabrication products to customers across the globe. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pratik. Thank you. Namaskar. Greetings to Shri Pradeep Tandonji. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible,
Yeah,
sir.
Greetings to Pradeep Tandonji, Ramashankar ji, Satyen Tiwari ji, Raghavan Singhania ji, Shri P. Arun Prasad sir, Shri Manoj Pingwa sir. I represent Mehta Steels. We are into steel trading business, mainly catering into mild steel plates, rails, crane rails, and other heavy fabricated goods. We are also specializing into crane rails and crane rail installations globally. We have done a couple of projects, port projects in some of the countries like Taiwan, Qatar, Malaysia, etc. Some of the engineering products that are catered by Mehta Steels and also other industries in Bhilai and other parts of Chhattisgarh are, which we are proud of, are such as 260-meter single-length rails done by SAIL, LHB coaches and bogies made in Bhilai and nearby regions by industries, our industry and other industries as well. Ladles, turnouts, blast furnace, cooling plates. Some of the PEB engineering industries are available here. Modular and other type of steel bridges, and few other prestigious projects that I want to mention, on which Chhattisgarh has been a key supplier in terms of engineering products are Chandrayaan Space Needle Project, Krishna Ganga Hydroelectric Project, Statue of Unity, Kaleshwaram Lift Irrigation Project, Bhupen Hazarika Setu, etc. Today, I'm here just specially to vouch for the Chhattisgarh and my story about how Chhattisgarh has helped me and my company grow. I must say I'm blessed to be born and raised in Chhattisgarh. Some of the benefits I enjoy as an individual and as a business frontrunner in Chhattisgarh are as follows. Good education. The town Bhilai, where I belong to, have some renowned schools and more than 7 engineering colleges in the vicinity. Also, there's a construction of IIT going on. The average literacy rate in Chhattisgarh for urban regions was 84.05% in few years back. I feel very safe walking out of my house in the streets anytime alone, anywhere in Chhattisgarh so far. I can fly out conveniently across the globe, currently with a stopover, definitely at any metros. But we are sure that in some time soon we'll have international connections as well. We are centrally located, and this keeps moderate freight cost for domestic and pan-India transportations. Rich mineral resources such as iron ore, coal, etc., to name a few. Chhattisgarh has installed power capacity of over 14,000 megawatt. There are 52 industrial area in Chhattisgarh state. We have ample availability of skilled manpower. Chhattisgarh has ranked high on cleanliness index. These are very few qualities that I can mention about Chhattisgarh right now. There are many. When you come here and experience yourself, you'll feel that Chhattisgarh is truly blessed. My appeal to the local government bodies is to bring more emphasis on areas such as simplifying MSME engineering units, registration in companies such as RDSO, railway, state governments, etc. Also to bring focus on local to be implemented in downstream industries. The final take home from my side would be Chhattisgarh is the next Seattle of India for engineering products. So don't wait, start venture here again. Thank you. And I share my gratitude and thanks to Banjaraji, all dignitaries, all participants, CSIDC, FICCI, Jindal Steel and Power. Thank you for the opportunity. Jai Johar, Jai Chhattisgarh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mehta. Now I would like to invite Mr. Raghavendra Singhania. He's the CEO of Shivalik Group. Mr. Singhania, born and brought up in Raipur, Chhattisgarh School, and Chhattisgarh Schooling in Rajkumar College. He completed his graduation from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University, and MBA from FMS New Delhi. He started the precision highly engineering auto component manufacturing industry in the name of Shivalik Group of Companies in the year 2006 and scaled it up to 3 units. The Shivalik Group is comprised of Shivalik Power and Steel Private Limited, Shivalik Engineering Industries Limited, and real estate business. Shivalik Group is catering to almost all leading OEMs and commercial vehicles, tractors, and railways in India and overseas. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, everybody. This is Raghavendra Singhania. It is a great opportunity to speak in this platform. Lot of almost everything has been covered already about the Chhattisgarh and opportunity in Chhattisgarh and all those parameters. So what is left is I would like to talk about my industry. We are into auto components manufacturing, mainly catering to commercial vehicles. जा रहा है कि नहीं?
We can hear you.
Sir, you're audible. Sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So mainly catering to commercial vehicle segment and tractor industries and railways. We are into this since last more than 14, 15 years. And we are also proud to say that, I don't know why, but Chhattisgarh, we are the only one who are doing this activity of auto component manufacturing, catering to all OEMs. Almost all commercial vehicle OEMs are our customer, and tractors. Indian Railways, we are also catering to metro railways, and we have been exporting also to US. So Chhattisgarh is, it's a land of opportunity. It it gives everything, like abundance power. There is no power cut here, which is one of the biggest advantage if you look at, because the work what we are doing, our main cost is power intensive. So if there is a power cut, we will not be able to utilize our capacities, and then cost goes high. In terms of raw material availability, Chhattisgarh is having abundance raw material. Almost all steel, ferroalloys, pig iron is available in Chhattisgarh. People are good, very friendly people. Manpower is not a problem. The only thing what we always find is there is a big gap in some good if some good OEM is there in Chhattisgarh, a lot of industries can come up, and like it is already said in this platform about establishment of other ancillary units, because automobile OEM, if any OEM comes, it brings opportunity for a lot of ancillaries in terms of electrical, plastic industry, steel, you name it, and everything is used in a vehicle. That is one thing, and otherwise, we get a lot of uh, support from the industrial government setup here. We can anytime approach them, talk to them about our difficulties, and they're ready for solution. I would recommend everybody that they should look at Chhattisgarh as an opportunity and come and set up value addition industries over here, because we are full with raw materials. We have abundance raw materials. Chhattisgarh is one of the hub for steel. Power is surplus here. So this is all what I have to say, and I thank you for the opportunity what has been given to me.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request Mr. Arup Prasad. Let me first introduce him. He is the Managing Director, Chhattisgarh State Industrial Development Corporation, Government of Chhattisgarh. Mr. Prasad is an IFS officer of Chhattisgarh cadre. He has completed his BSc from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University and MSc graduate from Indian Agriculture Research Institute. Mr. Prasad presently holding the key post of MD in CSIDC, which is Chhattisgarh State Industrial Development Corporation Limited, and has been primarily involved in industrial promotions and facilitation, industrial surveys, land bank management, land allotment to industries, entrepreneurship development, training and development, maintenance and upgradation of industrial areas. Mr. Prasad has played a major role in the development of promotion of electronics, manufacturing cluster, food park, and other industrial areas and projects. Mr. Prasad earlier held a position of member secretary at State Environmental Advisory Committee, additional secretary and deputy secretary at Chhattisgarh Environment Conservation Board. As the member secretary, he was overseeing the implementation of the environmental regulation in the state by the industries. Mr. Prasad ensured a responsible operation of the industries in the state to avoid polluting the natural resources. He has also worked as a district forest officer at several district level as well. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I welcome you all in this forum on behalf of Chhattisgarh, and I first of all thank Vicky for giving us an opportunity to showcase our state before the potential investors. I'll give a small intro about the opportunities that we have in Chhattisgarh vis-a-vis general investors, as well as specifically for engineering and auto components. The present policy is very strong and robust, and it's very flexible, and it was made with the direct guidance of our strong leader, our Honorable Chief Minister, Mr. Bhupesh Bagelji. People who are new to the Chhattisgarh dynamics, now I want to give a small intro. We have like 1,35,000 square kilometer area with 28.8 million population, which I want to project is our population density is very less. And generally, we became a new state from Madhya Pradesh, so always we see that Chhattisgarh is a small state. But per se, when you compare, we are sixth largest state in India. So area-wise, we are big, and we have vast resources in terms of land, in terms of forest, in terms of agriculture, and in terms of mineral resources. And the contribution of the industries to the state GSDP is around 46%. This shows that though we have a wide variety of resources, how much industry is playing a role in the overall economy of the state. And everyone has mentioned about the power availability. We have planned for 36,000 megawatts, but right now we have an installed capacity of 23,800 megawatts, and we consume only 1/6 of that. It means that around like 150 is available in excess, which we generally export to other states, to the extent of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh kind of thing. So overall point is that power is not going to be an issue at all, and we have one of the very competitive power tariffs all over India. When it comes to ease of doing business, we are pretty like in a nascent stage. We developed ourselves, pulled our socks. We came into the bracket of top achievers, and that's not the end. We are learning from few states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra, Gujarat. We are trying to get good things from those states. And in coming years, it's not about the top achievers that's being like judged by World Bank or something. The top achievers of ease of doing business technically will be evaluated by the investors who come in and invest. So the investors is at last, no, it comes, or it gives a real value for the ease of doing business, and we are seriously working on it. And we are going to implement or create a cell to monitor the ease of doing business directly under our honorable CM. So that makes the interlinking departments, the coordination to next level. That's our next plan. And Chhattisgarh is a peaceful state, very peaceful state. Okay, and the cost of living is less, rental is less, land value is less, labor cost is less. There is no labor unrest. Pretty peaceful people. So which like looks very simple statement, but when an investor's point of view, this makes a huge impact. Huge impact. There is no single report in terms of labor. BSP has never stopped in its lifetime. So these are all something like the investors who are going to employ a lot of laborers. It makes a difference. When it comes to connectivity, our entire industrial corridor is developed based on the rail and the road network, which is between Mumbai and Kolkata. So we are connected by the main artery of the country, which discusses in the horizontal way. So, and we are planning subsidiary development in connection with these connectivity roads, rail, etc. So that the heavy machineries, fabricated equipments are in ease to be transported all over India. And you know, the geographical location of Chhattisgarh is in the center of India, like covering many states. So any products which is produced in Chhattisgarh can be easily transported to other marketed to other places with minimum cost. When it comes to mineral wealth, so you name a mineral, it is there. We have every mineral in our state, and we are one of the first state to go for auction in a lot of mineral resources. And we have people to monitor the auction and the transportation of the mineral resources. And we are going more and more into online monitoring. No, like manual, it's always little error prone. So we are trying to shift everything into online system. Human resource availability is very good, and it's increasing in an incremental way. We have IIT, we have Triple IT, we have NIM, we have IIM, we have AIMS, we have Law University. So human resource potential is huge, and most of the human resource is actually going out of the state and working somewhere. Now, after this COVID situation, when they came back from the low level laborers to like a highly skilled staff, we have a complete database. So based on the database and based on the location, we have included that in the portal so that any investor, they can pick in their own skill set, what are the people available in each and every district, and what is their experience and what is their willingness. So this makes things very easy when someone comes to for investment. Recently, in an export preparedness index within the landlocked states, we are ranked in 4th. So the one way, like we are doing good, we came up to 4th, but the other way is that we have 3 more to patch up. We have to go ahead. The latest approach is cluster development. Previously, we used to open the industrial parks, open for every industry, and because we don't know how to narrow down the demand. But the cluster approach, as Mr. Ramashankar said, like an example of Gurgaon. So the cluster approach creates a unique niche where forward backward linkages make sense. So we are trying to go more and more on cluster approach. Right now we are in the process of opening a rail park in Durg where raw material is from BSP, and that park specifically focuses for the fabrication of the requirements of the railway system. So the railway orders are like, whatever I come to know, it's about like for next 50 years they have high demand in terms of rail networks, in terms of bridge and other related fabrications. So in connection with that, we are also interested to create a cluster for auto. I had a personal discussion with the Honorable CM. He told that when any big OEMs in terms of auto sector they comes, we can go to any extent to bring them in, because in auto sector we are pretty nascent stage. We are taking a few electric vehicle units like 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers. Now we are slowly we are gaining momentum. But auto sector is one thing. There is a direct commitment from highest leader that we can have a very wide and flexible discussion to bring in any OEMs who are ready to come in. Before ending, I want to make a few points about our industrial policy. There is a slight change. Like we have created a new sector called high priority sector, in which auto components is also there. So high priority is that any industry, the maximum available benefits of the policy is for high priority. Then to make a regional balance in development, we divided the blocks into 4 categories. So, like in a very less developed block or backward blocks will attract more and more subsidies and other benefits from the policy. And our bespoke policy, normally in average, they have very 500 plus scores in many like fast growing or big so-called developed states. We have reduced it to 100 crores so that even like a medium investment kind of thing can also have a personal discussion and make a customized package from the committee, so that it will be more useful for them to cross over their feasibility. So we have given specific thrust also towards the bioethanol policy. Okay, that's one new thing, because we expect bioethanol is going to be the fuel in future, whenever in next 10-15 years. And other than that, we have few other benefits like interest subsidy, like net GST subsidy, electricity duty exemption up to 100%, stamp duty exemption, and subsidies for technology purpose, transportation for export purpose kind of thing. So by and large, what I want to say is that this is one state where it is less explored except for steel sector. And there are huge opportunities in this sector. And generally, people see this sector as a new state or maybe Naxal affected state. And so why to take risk kind of thing. But my advice is that just come and explore. When you explore, you will come to know the reality. Okay, you don't even see Naxals. Now, I personally worked 4 years in one corner where it borders with Andhra and Maharashtra, okay, with 76% under the so-called LW areas. There is nothing like that. When there is there is no disturbance whatsoever for any industry, investors or workers or other people. The things are very different right now. I just request everyone to come and explore that, then you will come to me. And recently, our Honorable Chief Minister announced, before a few months, blanket cut of 30% on all the land rates whatsoever. Overall, all the guidelines has been slashed by 30%, and all our industrial land banks, which amounts to around 5,000 acres, it was slashed by 30% from whatever rate existed before that. And we have reduced the land lease premium also by 33%. That's like every year which you have to pay was reduced by 33%. So other than that, we are still in the process of creating lots and lots of land bank in the future, and we have a lot of big chunks like 250, 300, 500 acres in one chunk. So I would humbly request every investor just to come here and explore. We will take care of you in terms of this protocols of COVID-19. We have a system that you don't have to take quarantine. We have a very smooth system. And please explore, and then we will join hands and move forward. And if there is anything more you needed, you can communicate with us. I will be sharing my contact with in a few moments in your common chat box. And once again, I thank you, Vicky, for giving us an opportunity. And before finishing, I want to give you one small information. Our principal secretary, Mr. Manoj Pingwa, is unable to get out. There is like a high power committee just going on in the next conference hall, but somehow that committee was so important dealing with like these are doing business. Like want to make flow of previously stuck up things. So we are clearing all the pending things. So he's not able to get over. And I will go and check, and I will request him to come. If not, please excuse him for his absence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So we've got a text that there is a urgent meeting lined up as well, where MD sir has to be a part of, and he has to leave early. So I would request everyone, if you can share your questions over the mail with us, with me, or I will share the contact email address of Mr. Banjare sir as well. You can write to him as well directly, and then they will revert to you. So with this, I would like to take the opportunity to propose rather a word of thanks to all the panelists, MD sir, Chairman sir, to all the delegates who have joined today for the webinar. They have taken out their time in this weekend. Thank you very much for joining us.
Pratik, I want to say, any time, like any investor want to have one discussion with us, they can just message to us. We were free to interact with them, know to understand what is their exact requirements, and accordingly we can proceed. And I forgot to thank Mr. Shankar and Mr. Tiwari, Mr. Mehta and Sinhania. Mehta and Sinhania has done half of my job. Thank you, guys. And I really learned a lot of things from Mr. Shankar and Tiwari regarding the cluster approach. And we are now started learning from the states which are doing good and taking good things. And like Gurgaon, NCR is one place where you have to learn hell a lot. So thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have shared
you, sir.
an email address of Banjare sir and Arun sir as well on the chat box. So if somebody wants to ask any question or have any doubt, you can directly write to them as well. And once again, thank you very much, everyone, for taking out the time and joining us today. And I wish everyone to stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourself and your family. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Vinderji. Bye. Bye-bye, Satinderji.
Bye.